Hello, everybody, and welcome back. How many of you have been to an orchid show before or even know that they were a thing? So, this is maybe my fourth time going to an orchid show. I went to the Southern Ontario Orchid Society's Orchid Show and Sale today. I believe this is their 60th anniversary, and they called it the 60th year of enchantment. There were quite a lot of vendors there, and it was really nice to see a lot of the plants that were for sale and all of the setups that a lot of the vendors had set up, or even the societies had set up with all of their orchids. And I recorded some footage that I wanted to share with you, and I also wanted to share some of the plants that I purchased while I was there. I also got a couple of plant supplies, so I can even just go through some of those, and I'll show you those in a bit. Today is the first day of the Southern Ontario Orchid Society's Orchid Show. It is February 8th, 2025, and everyone put on a great display of their plants at the show. I do my best to show whose tables is whose, but the tables at this show is a mix from different vendors and tables from the different orchid societies here in Ontario. Every plant is carefully labeled so you know exactly what plant you're looking at. You will notice that many of these orchids have ribbons on them. During an orchid show, there will typically be a judge from the American Orchid Society that will go through the orchids along with a few other judges to score them and give them awards. Orchids are usually judged in their own category, typically by their genus. For example, 3 possible groups are Phalaenopsis, Dendrobiums, and Cattleyas and allied genera. I have taken part of the judging process once at a different orchid show 2 years ago, mainly as an observer, but they did get me very much involved, and it was a very interesting process. The American Orchid Society has a very specific scoring system, and scored plants are compared to similar plants that were scored at previous shows. Hence the heavy naming on these plants so that they can properly identify them. They have a database where they can do lookups on orchids that have been scored in the past. I recommend taking part in this process if you ever have the opportunity to do so if you are curious. But the AOS site also has a judging handbook available online, which details a little bit about how they score orchids. are so many beautiful plants at the show today. At this point though, it was getting a bit difficult to continue filming as many more people started funneling into the show. This is an annual event, so it's not surprising to see many orchid enthusiasts joining in here to see the beautiful display of plants. I did my best to film what I could, and I believe I got most of it, but I hope you enjoyed what you saw here today. All right, I hope you enjoyed that footage. Now I would like to go through some of the stuff that I purchased while I was at the show. So I'm going to start with the plant supplies that I purchased. Lucky for me, Raven Vision was at the show and I wanted to stock up on my fine fir bark. I use this for both orchids and for some aroids that I have or plants that might need a bit of bark. And they have a fine bark and they also have the medium one. So I use both, but I was running low on the fine fir bark. And I mean, if you want a little bit of a guide as to how you use the finer bark, they have a little bit at the back, which is nice. I do realize that it's more for like maybe more finer rooted orchids, and some Phalaenopsis also do well with it. So this is great for me to have. So I bought 2 of those. And then I bought some of these pots. So they have some with slits in it. This one doesn't. These will work great for some plants that I have that may not want the extra aeration and I don't want roots coming out. I don't have many of this. This, I believe, is the 3-inch pot. So I needed some of this size. The next set of supplies that I got is from Plantal Support. I've never purchased from Plantal Support before, but I have heard about this company a lot. I heard that she had a lot of nice trellises, so there's a bunch of trellises in here that I would like to use for some of my Hoyas. I also got this pack for Hoyas as well. I also got a pack of these sticks or rods for maybe helping to stake some of my plants, whether it's orchids, alocasias, anything that might just need some support. And lastly, I have some clear clips to go with them. And this is just the sort of business card. Kind of cute. So those are all of the supplies that I bought there. Plantal Support is also known for creating shelving for IKEA cabinets with great airflow and ventilation, even just custom shapes for those cabinets. I would love to buy some of those shelving one day. They weren't being sold at the show, but they can be purchased online and shipped. So I'm hoping that maybe one day I can maybe purchase some of those. But for now, I'm just dealing with what I have that is currently in my cabinets. The Millsbow is just the regular glass shelving, and then the Rudsta, I got some magnetic shelves that were 3D printed when I purchased it from the Facebook seller. All right, so that's my supply haul. So now it's time to look at the plants that I purchased. Okay, so for the plants, the only plants I purchased were from Ecuagenera. I pre-ordered them end of January and they had a pickup spot at the Orchid Show. So that is what I did. There were so many vendors there, but I have seen a lot of them already in October and I purchased quite a few of them back then. So that was primarily why I didn't make much of those purchases from other vendors, especially because Ecuagenera was not at that previous Orchid Show. But there were some pretty cool ones. I think seeing Sunset Valley orchids was really cool. I don't remember seeing them the last time when I went to this orchid show. So it was definitely cool to take a look at some of their plants since I never got to see them in person before, and they are known to have pretty cool plants. But without further ado, let's look at the plants that I got from Ecuagenera. When I got these plants from Ecuagenera, they came in this plastic bag here with all of the plants individually wrapped in these clear plastic wraps. So what I did to protect them from the cold as I was leaving, because it is the middle of winter here, I use a reusable grocery bag that could completely cover this, and then on top a little bit of insulation so that when I walk out into the cold that they would be all right. I know that they've been shipped from Ecuador, so I hope the plants in here are all right. But let's take a look. Only one way to find out. So I'm just going to start with the obvious one because it's already sticking outside of the bag. Oh, wow. It has a little bit of damage, but this is the Philodendron patriciae. If you saw my wish list video, you would have noticed that this one was on my wish list. So it was not too expensive. You do have to purchase in US dollars on their site. But I just found that this one was not too expensive. Let me just take it out of this wrapping. I can't remember where I put my box cutters, so I'm just going to use these. Oh, wow, it's pretty. There might be some weather damage. I'm not sure. Oh. But for the most part, it looks all right. And some of the damage I'm seeing is mostly on this side, or it could just be from stress. So one of the things I really liked about this one was like the ruffling. I'm not seeing a lot of it right now, but I still really like that green vein in the middle. Oh, this looks so exciting. I think this might just be the cataphil here that I can just probably pop off. I'll leave it. Oh, and this might be the new leaf. Oh, that's a new leaf. I'm so slow. Okay, okay. Okay, next plant. I also just want to point out, it's not velvety. It's more like I don't know how to describe this kind of philodendron. It's a typical philodendron. It's not velvety or anything like that. But it just looks pretty to me. Okay, next plant. Oh, I also wanted to point out that this is their medium-sized patriciae. I wanted a seedling, but the only thing that they had available was the medium-sized. I'm still okay with this size, though. It's not too big. Ooh. Okay, so this is the Anthurium Crystal Sky. So I believe this is a cross of an Anthurium crystallinum with a Bessier af, or is it just a Bessier? But it is a hybrid. I really like the Anthurium Bessier, and I saw it at the show today that they were selling. Equigenera was selling. My understanding with the Anthurium Bessier af, as beautiful as it is a bit finicky and hard to grow, and a lot of people are just left with stumps after they import them. So I wanted to try the Anthurium Crystal Sky. I have seen pictures of it and it looks beautiful, and it looks like it would fill the whole of a Bessier af for me. So that was why I wanted this one. My only concern is that it just looks kind of wet in there. And I'm worried if there's any damage. Oh, wow. It seems all right. There she is. Honestly, it's so pretty. I like how dark it is. Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, this one's a little folded, but it was shipped. It's in moss in there, and it's still fairly wet. I think it's fine. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Okay, I'm really happy with that one. So yeah, I'm hoping this should fill the whole of the Bessier af for me, and I believe it's supposed to grow a lot easier than a Bessier af. So we'll see how that goes. I will keep you posted. The next one in here it's so cute. So this is a seedling size or a small of the Anthurium papillilaminum. Let me see if I can just take it out. Okay, so he's looking pretty good. Quite velvety. I've heard good things about it, and I did see a bigger one at the show for sale. So I'm excited to see what it will actually look like when it's bigger, I mean. But it's interesting to see an anthurium that doesn't have all that silver on it. It looks very much like the crystal sky. But you can see that the crystal sky has a bit more veining. This is the crystal sky. This is the papillilaminum. I'm almost surprised that this one doesn't have papillilaminum in it. I guess the Bessier is just mostly veiny like that too, so maybe that's why. But yeah, the papillilaminum is truly more green, so pretty cool. And you can see it has a little bit of red on the leaf there. I think, is this the newest leaf? It likely could be. That's probably why it's mostly red. Again, these are imports, so I'm not super surprised with some of this damage. I'm just really excited to have it. Oh my gosh, this next one is a lot larger than I thought. It only came in one size. I do prefer to buy smaller plants as imports if I can, just because they can acclimate a lot easier and a lot better. They are not so accustomed to the nice high humidity and warmth that is in Ecuador, but I can get the seedlings to acclimate to my home. This is a lot bigger than I thought. Let me pull it out. Okay, inside the bag it looked huge, but it is not too bad. So I also added in my wish list video that I wanted a papillilaminum, which is what I got, but I also wanted a papillilaminum cross with like a crystallinum of some sort. And I saw on Equigenera they had a papillilaminum crossed with the crystal sky. And that's what it looks like there. Again, let me just take it out. Okay, so this one is interesting. It doesn't quite look like what I was seeing on the website, but it is still pretty cool. That's the largest leaf. And it looks like there was a growth or a new leaf that was starting, but probably didn't make it. So I was kind of hoping for a little bit more veination on this one, since it would have been a bit more like a crystallinum, but it almost just looks like the crystal sky itself. Well, that's the papillilaminum. This is the crystal sky. Well, it would be a cross of, so those are the two, not the exact parents, but the parent plants. And then there's that one, which would be a hybrid of these two. So I kind of see it, but at the same time, okay, maybe they are different. The papillilaminum maybe doesn't look as dark, but this is also not, the papillilaminum is not as mature yet. So it would be like it would be nice to see them grow and then make out the differences there. All right, so I understand I went to an orchid show and I ended up with a bunch of anthuriums. But trust me, I did get at least one orchid. So I ended up getting a Dendrobium Mountains Butterfly Kisses F. rojo xanthinum. It's apparently a Dendrobium glomeratum crossed with a Dendrobium cuthbertsonii. In my wishlist video, I had mentioned I really wanted a cuthbertsonii hybrid because I swear the leaves are just so cool compared to like the flower size. So I don't think a lot of these flowers made it, but still. I just think this is a really cool orchid. My understanding is that they are cooler growers. Oh my gosh, the texture, it's very rigid. Oh my gosh. What was I saying? My understanding is that these are cooler growers, so I will not be putting this in my cabinet. I'm going to maybe try, oh, that's just a bud that fell. I think through shipment, a lot of these buds will blast. That is fine, as long as the plant is healthy. So because this is a bit of a cooler grower, I'm going to try to either keep it in my cooler cabinet, or maybe if I can put it on my windowsill in my office here, because I find it can get pretty cold. And when I say cold, like cool, maybe in the 60s, 70s. But there it is. Now, my understanding with this one, why I got it, is that the flowers should be red, but have yellow on the ends of the flower. So it's like a two-toned colored orchid. This is so cool. I'm excited to grow this one. I've been wanting this for so long, and I saw some at the show, like at the show for display, but I've never been able to find who I could buy it from outside of Ecuagenera. And I held out for a while, but I decided I really want one, and just I want to see how it grows and if I can grow it. Oh, the foliage is really cool. But yeah, I did get at least one orchid. All right, so those are all of my plants that I got at the orchid show. I got 3 anthuriums, a philodendron, and a little orchid, a dendrobium. So, and I also got a bunch of plant supplies. So I should be set for a while. Because these are imports, they are going to require some acclimation. So I'm going to do what I can to get them accustomed to the humidity levels in my house right now, and do a closer look of their root systems to make sure that they are doing okay. So I may make that another video. If you are interested, let me know. But that is everything that I have for today. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you liked what you saw today or if you learned something new. And subscribe. I am aiming to have something up every Tuesday so I can share what I am doing on my plant journey day to day. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.